No, that one, remember?
Oh, yeah, this one.
Yep. There we go.
We are underway.
Hey, hey! This is a Milne Road Studios production.
Firing up. Yeah.
Here we go. Come in with a cheer in a minute.
Righto, might as well. Beautiful Sunday, Ash.
Come in with a cheer. Yes,
There we are.
It is a beautiful Sunday.
Here we are. It's a Sunday. It's hot and sticky, and that's what I like.
Certainly hot and sticky in here, Shaun. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Very well, thanks. Yeah, well, mate. Yeah, very well. How are you going?
Well, it's just prior to Easter, isn't it? We've had some cooler, windier weather, and we're now fucking pumping 34. It's pretty hot in the furnace in here, isn't it?
Oh, God. Easter. What do you do for Easter?
Mandy's going to Sydney. She's going Saturday to Saturday, so that'll be, I think there's an Anzac Day in there somewhere as well. So, no, I'll just be hanging around the house in between and doing a bit of work for the smelter company. And how's your new job at the smelter company going?
Going very well indeed, thank you. A little bit out of control when I got there. The poor fella that was there before me, he had some issues where he couldn't quite. He had a couple of headaches, so he had to leave and left early. So I left the place in the lurch. So I'm just trying to pick up the pieces at the minute, but we're getting there. It's a good bunch of people. Good young lady I work with beside me. So yeah, I'm surviving.
Good stuff. No, I think they need someone of your ilk in there. So you've got a good background through business, and I think it's time that the old smelter got tidied up a little bit. It is hard work down there. It's
well, yeah. I mean, the days fly. I got to say that. You start 7:30. And if you're not starting by 7:30, you're in trouble. So you are definitely starting by 7:30.
You'd be in trouble anyway. There'd be a few yelling at you, wouldn't there?
Oh, just every now and then someone wanders in and, voices their displeasure with things that go on. But what do you do about that? You can't do much.
There's a lot to organise, isn't there? You've got a run of guys or people down there that you try to coordinate their runs, and that involves maybe 2 or 3 different locations in one day, and some none, some 1, some 4. You
can get some that are only 6 kilometres apart, and people still aren't happy. So
that's the way it goes, isn't it? He's probably listening as well, mate. He needs to just calm it all down a bit.
Hope he is listening.
Yeah, I hear you. It's hard work. It's put it this way: either side of the ledger, there's a lot to work through down there, and it's going to take a while. The ship, I think, hasn't even turned around yet, but there's a long way to go. Hopefully this time, about the 8th time, we can spin it round and try to go forward. Well,
all you got to do is put your pants on in the morning, wander in and have a go, isn't it? And, that's what they're paying us for. So, look, it's good. I've made a bit of an impact in the first week or two as well, which people are saying, so that's always nice.
Good. No, that's it. I think you'll leave a good footprint there, and hopefully you can work your way upstairs and get it tidied up. It'll be a lot of fun down the track, I think.
I think I'll stay downstairs for a minute, just at the minute hiding in the corner.
It's a bit like Trumpy, isn't it? There's that much going on in the world. I think every sort of facet of everything on earth is following the same sort of pattern.
Is that the biggest backflip by a president ever?
Talk about it.
Well, we're going to...
Tell me your thoughts.
Everyone's tariffs are going up.
Yep.
You wouldn't believe how much we're going to charge. We're going to bring back America. Americans obviously weren't happy with that. They protested, and obviously other countries protested, especially us, because I think we squealed like stuffed pigs, as we probably should have. And all of a sudden he's gone, well, no, actually we're not going to do it. We're going to back down. And we're going back to the way we were. I don't understand. That seems to me the biggest backflip by a president.
I think what he was saying, that if you don't argue against me, we can talk about the tariffs later.
Yeah.
So some got 125 for naming China. They certainly said a few things back, and then you also had the UN, which was they did backflip on actually. Coming back in saying, all right, we're gonna match it, and they said, nah, we're not. They used their brain a little bit on that one, and They pulled out. So at the moment, I think everyone out of the 89 countries on Earth, or however many countries there are, we were lucky we only got 10% here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't buy their hamburgers. Like, what, do you get fucking foot and mouth from their hamburgers? We got the best cattle in the world. We don't need to buy more beef. But my thought on it, Shawnee, is that whether it's beef or fucking steel or aluminium or olive oil, whatever it is, it's all going to add up in the long run anyway. So we don't have a tariff on them. Now they've got a tariff on us. So
do we go the other way?
No, I think eventually you'll find that it'll just drop off. I think that the 10% will go down as low as 2% on beef because we don't buy their hamburgers. I don't know how much money we owe them over there. There was some talk that we do owe them something, but I think we're still their greatest asset where we are in the Pacific, because without us being in our location, then the Pacific would be up for grabs from Indonesia
in
down.
that regard.
Fuck yeah.
So they need us in that regard, right? So why, I don't understand the mentality behind that of going, well, okay, we're just going to give Australia a tariff. Surely, given at the moment there's heightened tension, can we say, between China and America?
Of course.
So if you've got one asset in this area in the Pacific, surely you don't put a tariff on it and upset that country. I'm not sure what. I would think they should have been doing everything they can to keep us happy.
And I think there's a fair bit of kickback in the American judiciary thing that, they have these meetings there, and it's all on video. It's all pretty transparent. And there was one of the high Yanks said, and what have we done? We've stung those Australians with a 10% tariff because they don't eat our burgers, and I'm thinking, and this is coming from them.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's recognised.
That's crazy, though.
We've got AUKUS that we're involved in.
Yeah.
With the submarines, we buy planes from them.
Yep.
We've just I know there's been a payment of $500 million or $800 million in regards to the first payment towards the subs.
Yep.
Now, at this stage, I know there was one sub out at the Stirling naval base there in WA.
Oh, okay.
Out of the goodness of it at the minute, since those 3 frigates come down from China, they have poked the bear, haven't they?
Oh, I love it, though.
And I think, for all those years that we've had people sitting on their laurels doing fuck all about it, that the worst thing they did for themselves was poke the bear and come all the way around. Now, whether they've I think there was underwater photography or whatever, they were checking out where all the cable is underground.
Oh,
because there's a lot that comes in through the Pacific.
Right.
And there's one that goes all around to WA and then up into the Indian Ocean and around.
Right.
So if they cut them in the likes of war, then all your comms drop out, everything drops out. You can use your satellite, but they'll want to knock your satellites out as well. Like, it just goes on. If you haven't got communications, what's going on, you're fucked.
Absolutely.
You can't see. Now, what they're saying also is, and this one's the one I love, is that they're now pushing to get the Darwin Harbour back. All right, they got a 99-year lease that Liberals sold in the last decade.
Yep.
Now they got to renege and they got to repay some sort of money to whoever the Chinese port owner was.
Yes.
Now that's going to cost money, but get the fucking port back. That's the first thing. And there's also a big air base in WA that China built in WA up near Exmouth up the top there.
Okay.
Now you can land all size planes up there.
Have we allowed this?
How have we allowed it? You imagine going to China and saying, oh, we want to put naval base in.
But Beijing, we're just going to build an air base. Land any aircraft we want, Cessnas, up to, whatever, and in the middle of China.
Sure.
That can happen?
Not at all.
Why have we let it?
Why have we let it do? Yeah, we've sold out. All right, we've used the steel to build our big cities. Now we got good cities, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, but that's our God-given right to do that as well. We're Australia. We can use and sell to whomever we want for our benefit, right? You can't say China uses all the steel for their armies and their navy and all that sort of gear. Even though their GDP is getting up around 8, 9, 10% on defence, they still have to use that for construction and everything else. So, yes, I wouldn't want to be selling steel to somebody that's using it just for defence, but they're not. No. But they are still elevating their GDP.
It's a fine balance, isn't it?
Yeah, look, if it looks like you're doing the right thing, even if you're doing the wrong thing, we still sell metals to America, and they're going to be using some of that for defence. But so everybody's the same.
If I'm America, I mean, the hamburger comment was a stupid one. Let's face it.
That was the funniest one I've ever.
It was
they won't buy our fucking hamburgers.
It was a bit like the George Bush one when he was running in the election, and he was at an abortion rally. And he banged his hand on the table and he said, the most important thing is that we take care of the feces.
Oh.
And then
that would have put him in the poop, wouldn't it?
And then someone whispered into his ear and then he rebanged on the table and said, the fetus. Now, to me, when I heard that hamburger comment, I'm putting that other one from Bush in my mind as well, going, they're fairly similar, bloody just mental. But anyway. So here's the thing, right? So America knows they've got China own our port.
Well, they got a lease on it, yeah, in Darwin, yep.
They know that.
Yep.
They know they've got this air base in Exmouth.
Yes.
Exmouth. There's tensions everywhere. Why would you then go to us and go, well, actually, we're going to slap a 10? Is this just Trump being mad? Is this what it is?
And don't forget, you've got the airspace, haven't you, from the Horn of South Africa all the way over New Zealand. We've got all that airspace there that we monitor. We've got the over horizons stuff that we've just sold to Canada as well, you know, to see stuff coming before, you know, you even know it's about to bomb your cities. The big concern, I think, still is Taiwan. And we don't want a war. We'll have to support a war if there ever is a war between Taiwan and China. And I can understand them saying, well, you butt out, it's none of your business, which in theory it isn't, because we're Australia. We don't put our nose into Taiwan and say, this is what you should be doing.
It's a nasty one to get involved in.
But if you lose control of that one, then that opens up the Pacific all the way to Midway, Hawaii, America, and then you just come down and down and down.
We get another Midway.
That's right. The beauty is you've got, I think we talked about last time, is that Australia is so far down, you've really got to come down the east or west coast, at least down to Queensland. Like, you've got the naval bases and the air bases in Townsville. So it's not like you can just come off the east coast of Australia and come in. You know what I mean? Like your biggest thing would be to go all the way down the bottom in South Australia, because we'd have a few passing us by on the Great Nullarbor and we'd say, hey, do you see that armoury vehicle going past?
A couple of people smoking a reefer down a semaphore going, hang on, what's happening here? But the thing is here as well, that I keep thinking, I was thinking about this recently, technology's changed.
That's right.
So, where in the 70s you used to go, China's that far away that they can't really reach us unless they come by boat or aircraft, and then we'll know they're coming and we're okay.
Yes.
Long-range missiles and stuff now from China, and if they've got their ships sitting just up above us, we don't want to get involved in that Taiwanese battle, I'm telling you now.
No, that's right. We can't lose that one, though, either, because that...
well, what do you do?
Well, you got to back it and then hope that they haven't got something that we haven't got. That's the scary part.
And rely on Albo getting it right.
Yeah, Trump's talking about the F-47s, the new jet fighters. Yep. They won't be out for 3 or 4 years yet. Like, they're not even due for... Now, the F-22 and the F-35 are fine. And all the boats are set up for those things anyway, all the aircraft carriers.
Yeah, okay.
But like if you look at war and like, I'm not beating the drum on war either, but I would say like the Cuban Missile Crisis, we're probably as close, if not closer than that ever was.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen on the on YouTube this morning that there was an article again about the Russian bloke saying, "I'm ready with the with the nuclear again," and you think, "Fucking hell!" Like you keep threatening with the nuclear. Well, who's going to win out of the nuclear? Even if you send one nuke to Ukraine and you level Ukraine and say, right, I fucking told you people, right? What, you don't reckon there's one coming back the other way? Like there has to be.
Here's the thing: is America biting off too much?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's a resettlement. I think it's when COVID came in, and of course. The whole world shit itself, didn't it? It stopped for 2.5 years.
Yep.
The Expendables won either side of that.
And I reckon that was the biggest news. I think that was the biggest news. I think that got to China.
Did you see the new Guernsey? It's on there. He's up there now. So.
Oh, that's so good. And yeah, I think that Expendables got to America, didn't it? Or China? People knew about it?
Everywhere. It was everywhere. But, once again, I don't think they have. I think it's... as they're saying with the world order in regards to trading, is that China always declares that they're making profit. China always declares they're never having issues. China is in the...
Didn't do COVID.
No. Where did that come from? Fucking bats in your place. You've also got the issues with Wall Street, that they're practicing their stuff in Wall Street, and it's not certified, it's not back. So that's going to come through. There's a new guy taking over from there. He's going to start levelling out the people that aren't playing properly.
Yeah.
So that's going to come as well. So I think what you're going to find is it's going to come back like this. And
I hope so.
And they're going to milk out. And as he said, there's going to be some issues. There was some issues. I think he took a big sigh of relief when he saw the green fucking worm go up. Because everybody gave $10,000 out of their super, everywhere.
Yeah. It's worrying, and you hope it comes back together. But gee, I keep thinking you got Russia, America, China. There's some big players in that right in the minute.
And now you got Iran that's sniffing on their first nuke.
So at the moment, you've got all that going on.
It's not good.
And you think we've got troubles at the smelter. Well,
think about Johnny that's bad at the primary school, it's so insignificant, isn't it? Like you can keep putting your head in the sand and, the problem is once you start watching it every day, you're involved in it and you can see where things are going and you can sort of see all these little worms doing their little paths.
Yeah.
And there's these straight lines where it should be and, one day it's up here, next day it's down and you think, ooh, fuck, really?
Well, there's more issues probably than the Gawler Baseball Club at the moment. That's kicked off the other night at their AGM, but that's another story altogether.
Yeah, well, that's almost Russian in it anyway, isn't it?
Oh, I would have thought so, but they're in a bit of a mess. But anyway, look, to me, we can't just... when do we actually become serious enough to go, you know what, this is what we want?
I think that time is probably after the election.
Yep.
Or a week before the election.
Yep.
You've said, how do you call this election anyway? Like the hardcore left's going to be left and the hardcore right's going to be right. Those people are never going to change. The people that can change it, if they're old enough to vote, which is 18, of course, when you're 18, 19, 20, you don't really know what you're voting for anyway. You're probably going to go off what your mum and dad tells you, and then you're going to...
those days over?
You're going to tick the... I hope so. You're going to tick the Greens or the Independents.
Greens.
But they all pick up the pieces for one or the other anyway. So you might contradict or you might be voting for something you're not anyway.
Everything I've read at the moment on it, reckons that people's opinion, and I've taken a wide scope. I don't just read one person or whatever, or Paul Murray on Sky News.
He's a hardcore man, isn't he?
Do you think? But
I like him.
I like him too. But I don't just take his opinion because otherwise it'll be all one way. But when you look at it, everyone's suggesting that the election coming up, there's going to be a lot of independent votes. People are seeing that the two major parties are too close together. I don't see that. I think there's a bit of a difference between them. So my interest will be, will people think they're aligned or they're pretty similar, so they'll go the independent route, which they did last election, or are they actually going to go back to their traditional bases of your Liberal and your Labor like your mum and dad used to do? I think it's a fascinating election, this one coming up.
Sure. Look, I think the younger folk will probably go off into the independents, but they'll all come back anyway to back either left or right anyway.
Well, they will, yeah.
And that's the worrying part. If you think you're voting for a smaller minority that says it's the good party family, and you vote for that and it goes to Labor or Liberal anyway as a support. So either way, unless you know what you're voting for, I don't know what you're voting for.
Well, and then there's Clive Palmer's mob, which, is completely...
Is his Titanic nearly ready?
Oh, goodness me. And the other thing is their commercials. Like, their commercials are good. I don't mind their commercials. But I heard someone talking about the lady that's the South Australian main representative the other day on the radio. And they said, well, what's she done? Oh, well, she's been in marketing in life and, she thinks she can run South Australia, and... We've heard she's not fully endorsed by the AEC. And the bloke on the radio getting interviewed said, well, no, not yet, but we're hoping she will be in the next week. Now, so they're in a bit of trouble, but you could see with the amount of Clive spent on advertising, there's some issues there that hit home for people, I think. So I wouldn't be, I'm not saying he's going to win, but obviously there could be some votes in that for him. But if the main chick in Adelaide hasn't even been endorsed, well, she can't run anyway.
Yeah, I think also, like Clive Palmer's got the money behind him, he wouldn't be able to come down to that level, to operate at that low pay rate.
Imagine if he won.
I don't think he would.
You wake up on the Sunday, who's the Prime Minister? Clive Palmer. Well, hello. Things will be different then, I reckon.
Free or reduced costs on my Titanic.
Yeah. When is that coming along?
I think it's had that many setbacks, Shawnee, from the beginning that he might have started looking at that in 2008 or whenever it was, and then there was the financial fucking crash in 2008. That put it back to 2015, and then there was something else that was crashed in there, and poor bugger, all he wants is his boat, like...
Is he the Australian Trump?
I think so.
Oh, I reckon he is.
But you need people like that. You need those smart people that can run it, not...
and that are passionate. He's definitely passionate.
Well, they know how to make money, don't they?
They do.
Like running a country's no different to running a business.
The last election, he stood up at a forum and they said, and they had all the parties there. And they said, okay, Clive, tell us in 10 minutes what you stand for. Better homes, better jobs, better values for all Australians. Thanks very much. And then sat down. Now, he had his 10 minutes there that he could have really just, gone for it. But instead, that's what he gave him.
10 minutes isn't long to do it, though, is it?
Oh, it's not. But he gave him 35 seconds. I don't know. You get these... I reckon he's Australia's Trump, to be honest. But...
Look, the same as Pauline Hanson. She's been banging on for years. Like, seriously, she's not wrong.
The jailbird.
She's not wrong on most of it.
No.
The other one was
her daughter's involved now too.
The Woman's Weekly lady. What was her name?
I don't know.
No, that did the Woman's
I
Weekly.
never watched that magazine. I read that magazine. I read others. So
Ida Buttrose, and she said those years ago, or in recent times, that the Australian larrickism has gone in the men.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can't have, women were women and men were men. It was fun. There was banter between the sexes. Now, for some reason, everybody's going the same way.
Well, you're not allowed to.
Everyone's got a noodle and a joodle. Like it's.
and given the hour of the day, you can make up which one you got.
Well, everything's getting smaller and everything's getting similar. So
it's just and she's right. I think the larrikin's gone. I mean, I'm not sure anyone would call Peter Dutton an Australian larrikin.
No,
he's an interesting character.
I think so, and I think in could you go another term with the guy we've got now? Don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, look, I'm not going to get liberal.
No, I'm not.
Here, but
we're a free state here, mate, to say whatever we want. But.
Absolutely, but if we're having a bar at the East River Bar.
Yes, sir. A drink
at the East River Bar. Sorry,
on the 25th, Anzac Day. That's coming up.
We're getting together on that day.
Yes, sir.
So I'm asking you right now. I say, Ash, you can invite either Albo or you can have Peter Dutton around for the day. Or neither. You can just
hell. That's a good question, Shawnee.
Yeah,
I like that. It puts me on the spot a bit.
Yeah,
I might have to come back to you on that one.
All right. Well, I'll find out on the 25th.
I might have to have them both here, I reckon.
Oh, imagine that.
Sit on the fence.
Yeah, good man. No, or just have neither. That's the other way to sit on the fence, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know.
That's a real good question. Yeah, no. Look, I think Anzac Day. I know we're throwing things around a bit here, and we should get to Anzac Day shortly. But that's a great day to catch people up. That's as good as Bathurst Day, I reckon.
I've had a couple of days
now
here.
I've shot into October.
I've had a couple of days here where I've gone home with a bit of a headache. One was an Anzac Day. I think another one was a Bathurst where you had a friend who was going to poleaxe me because we were talking about some topics. But he
sure.
But they're great fun here. And look, but Anzac Day, it's all about the beers, the mates, the getting together, remembering those, like, even modern, soldiers that went off and fought for us as well, like your people that were in the military, 90,
Yeah, we've got to chase 90 up, see if he's here. He was in the city last year, I think, or was I not here last year?
No, you weren't here last year. And me and Renfrey were going to miss the white Stingray, and I were going to come up here and have a few beers, and he never rang, so I sit at home on my own. But we've got to do this year, surely.
Yeah, this year's on. Yeah, that's only next Friday. So
yeah, it is. Once we get out of the smelter on the Thursday night.
Yeah.
And the good thing is Friday we get a couple of days to
sure do
pull the head back together.
Easter. Let's just go back on to just before we close out on the Dutton and the the Albo thing. That's a great question. I'd love to put people on the spot with that question. That's pretty good.
I like doing those sort of things.
If you had a party and you could have one.
You could have one.
Yeah, that'd be good. You'd sort out a lot of people, wouldn't you? You'd know what they're about.
As soon as they go, Dutton, then you go, okay. So
Ash is weak as piss. He's asked both of them to come.
He went a bit soft. Couldn't get through it. But I figure Albo would be sort of like you'd have a round for beers on Anzac Day, and he'd probably get slaughtered and go home. Where I think Dutton would probably sit in the corner on the Pims, and then
I think Albo would say this is a great day anyway, wouldn't he?
Oh, he'd have a.
He's more of the typical Labor Bob Hawke type sidekick, sort of.
When I was a little kid, my grandfather used to give me shandies to get used to beer, right? Lemonade and beer.
I'm still drinking lemonade with him. I still can't control him.
I used to love shandies, but I reckon Albo, he'd pretend to be in the day. Oh, having a great day. And we'd all be slaughtered in the corner, and I reckon he'd be on the shandies in the corner secretly. I don't think he could. I don't know.
Yeah, any company that sacks someone for having the day off is a bum,
Oh, that's a good one.
Bobby.
That's a good one, Bobby. But and then Dutton, I'm not sure what he'd get up to. I think he'd just sit in the corner.
He'd be fairly reserved, wouldn't he?
He'd sit in the corner with his Pims.
It's probably not the right thing to have such fun, Albo, but...
Bit warm today. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Isn't it funny how they all find their own characteristic anyway? Like you put them in some sort of folder, don't you? You find I think as Aussies too, that you automatically find their strengths and weaknesses. You get into them about their weaknesses, and then back them when things are good.
Well, I 1993, friend of mine said to me, he's going to a Liberal function. And I said, oh, okay, fine. He said, I need someone to go with me. I said, all right, sure.
Sure thing.
So I've gone along, and John Hewson was there, right? Now, we spoke to John Hewson for 10 minutes, and I walked out thinking, oh, this bloke's Jesus Christ, oh, he's a great fella. And then he couldn't tell you what the GST would be a week later on 60 Minutes with Ray Martin or whoever was interviewing. And I
just... the name of the past, Ray.
Yeah, Ray was interviewing, and he couldn't think of what GST would look like on a birthday cake. That was that famous interview where he couldn't say what it would look like.
Looked like 10%, mate.
And I cringed on the couch, and I remember my dear old dad saying to me at the time, he's not so good now, is he? Sort of thing, But you look at these people and you build them up, but sometimes they're not. I don't know.
Shaun, tell me what year Ansett shut down.
Oh, goodness me. I was there just at the end too. I got out 6 months before it ended.
Put you on the spot.
Would have been, I think you've done that very well. Couldn't have been 97 or 98 because I was working there. I reckon it'd be 2005, would it?
Was it that late? I would have thought it was earlier.
2002, perhaps? I can't remember, to be off the top of my head. Geez, you've got me now, haven't you?
Well, about time.
Yeah, you've got me. I was working there at the end. 97 and 98 was when the Crows were in the grand final.
Was it around the same time, was it?
And I was being a poor...
Big shout out to Dave Saint, my old boss down there at Stiggy's all those years ago.
Oh, what did he do?
He was the boss.
Was he?
Him and Kim Martin, yeah, they were running it down near Fluffy's there at Regency Park.
Oh, Ansett finished. It's not telling me. Anyway.
It'll come to you.
Anyway, but look, I mean, that was the worst business decision, or one of them, that I've ever seen too. Ansett was Olympic carrier for the Olympics. In that same year, won Airline of the Year. Right?
Why did they shut it down?
So what's happened is they've gone Airline of the Year, Olympic Airline of the Year. Oh, yeah, well, let's go international up against Qantas.
Okay, they wanted competition, did they?
Or they wanted to expand into the international market. And what happened is they were flogging domestic market. When they closed, they actually still had virtually 70% of the market domestically, which is just, insane.
I remember the old T-Jets, they used to rumble like hell, didn't they?
Oh, God, they were good.
Oh, mate,
and
you look at them now, like you see them come sideways over North Adelaide there as you're driving on Marion Road or Sir Donald Bradman Drive there, and you see them come on that 45. And boy, like they're scooting. If they're doing 280 clicks to stay up there, when you see the mass of the aircraft travelling, that is...
I love it. I love it. And even, the Antonov came in a few months back.
Yeah, that's a over-the-top wing, isn't it?
I went down and looked at that. That thing was just
largest plane in the world.
Enormous. It was unbelievable. And, saw it land. I didn't watch it take off, but I just saw it land.
You wouldn't want to balance the tyres on that one, would you? There's about 40 of them on the bottom.
Oh, it's just unreal. But Ansett, so what they did, they decided to go international. And I remember we got told we could go and look at hotels at Bali because that's where Ansett was going to go to. So they took us on a work trip. And they said, you'll go with other passengers, we'll fly you up to Bali and then back for the week. So we went up.
I've been to Bali too.
Have you? Oh, I have.
Next year.
But we went to go on it. And they said, well, we can't take you anymore. This was a couple of days before. And we're like, why? And they said, we've only got 3 people booked on that flight from the general public.
God.
So
what aircrafts were they flying?
Oh, the Boeing, the 727 or whatever it was. Yeah, 747.
So the jumbo?
Yeah, the jumbo, yeah.
So did Ansett ever get one or not?
They bought a heat of 4 or 5.
I never knew that.
They bought 4 or 5. And what was happening was they started off with Bali and Singapore. However, because they hadn't really tested the market, they were flying up empty and then flying back empty.
Oh, righto.
So they were losing millions a day
doing
that. And so that's where they just came unstuck. which was, had they stuck to being domestic, they'd still be around today.
So Virgin came in after them, didn't they?
Yeah, Virgin did. Jetstar were they before Virgin?
They're still an offshoot of Qantas anyway, aren't they?
Yeah,
Jetstar,
I can't remember. Virgin might have come in. I can't remember. But Ansett, the amazing thing about that organisation working there was it was all families.
What was Ansett's owner, Bob?
Bob was the original Ansett.
What was his surname?
Bob Ansett.
Bob Ansett, that's the one.
And he was a sponsor of North Melbourne Footy Club. He owned them for a while.
So he had the rental cars too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Went in against the other mob. Who was the other mob that had the rental cars?
Oh, was it Hertz?
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah. So, but Bobby, my dad, look, as I said to you a million times, he ended up quite high with that organisation, and so he went and met Bob a couple of times, and then Sir Peter Abels was the guy that was the manager at the time when she all went belly up, and he was the bright spark who decided to stuff everyone's decision. We're going to go international. And my dad went over and said to him, "Mate, what are you doing? Like,
you haven't got the cattle.
You just do not have the passenger load. You've got to advertise for months and months and months before we do that." But no, they went ahead with it. And in the end, my dad was in all the bailout conversations with the government, and he rang me. He went over to a meeting one day with the Australian government and Sir Peter Abels and came home, and he said to me, "Shaun, if I was you, I'd probably look around for different work." So that sort of indicated that things weren't going well.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
But, I great company, just absolutely ruined by, a group of executives who wanted to be bigger than they were, essentially.
They probably had the right to do it. They were probably just a fraction early without doing the homework.
No planning.
Naivety, God, how many does it kill? It's a shame, isn't it? Then obviously Branson also isn't a part of. He might have been the initial hook up here and then got out of it anyway, because he's only Galactic Atlantic anyway, isn't he? Virgin Atlantic.
I don't mind him.
I like him. I think the guy's the greatest guy on earth. But
I want to go to the moon.
Well, it looks like
I want to fly to the moon.
They're getting closer to the moon.
Yeah.
There's a real rat race going on there again. It's almost like trying to beat the Russians again to space, because the Russians got the first orbit, and then the Yanks had to get to the moon. Did they get to the moon? You've still got all the programs on the telly saying that was a dodge.
Oh, I love it.
Did they get there?
I love it.
Did they get there or not?
You want my answer?
Well, you can bring it up on Anzac Day, or
I'm saying no.
you can bring.
I'm a conspiracy
You can bring
theorist.
two astronauts with you, or one only.
Oh, Armstrong. Well, you're probably a bit hard to bring him, unless I bring him in a box.
I think all those guys are just about gone, aren't they?
I think so. What's the other one? Buzz Aldrin, is it?
Yeah, look.
Might bring Buzz Lightyear.
Let's diversify even more.
Yeah.
If you look at UAP, UFO, right? Now we're going to go right
hello.
off chart here.
Righto, let's go.
Is that even if you've got video now of it,
Yeah.
people say it's bullshit anyway, and everyone's always been waiting for the video. Now you got video of it, and they're saying it's AI. AI's created the scene.
They didn't have AI back then.
Look, the old stuff on Kodak you can't fuck with.
No, that's right.
So those ones, unless you're sitting there with a bit of fishing line and a saucepan and spinning it, you can see the rotation. Couple of monkeys here. You know what I mean? But certainly these days, you can see people every day are filming something somewhere, and they're saying, "Nah, it's bullshit." And a lot of them are, like you can see when the space rocket comes up out of Florida, and it's got that sort of tubular fucking wells behind it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a fucking UFO. Don't put that shit up on the YouTube. That's just bullshit,
Someone out there with the light and a dinner plate. Well, UFO. but coming back to the landing on the moon, what's your take? Did they do it?
Oh, look, I hope they did.
So do I.
I'd be pissed off if someone turned around and said it was all fraud, wouldn't you?
Imagine if they did, though.
How
big would that be?
You're opening up Pandora's box there, aren't you? Like,
wow.
Hey?
Oh, it never happened. We just decided we needed to show that our program worked, our space program worked, so we did it.
Yeah, if you're fucking lying to say to the Russians that we did it and we never did it, Come on. I assume they got there.
I'm hoping they did. I mean, look, you watch all those movies these days, and you watch them and the magic of it all, and you think, geez, I really hope that did take place. I don't think, here's my theory, right? I don't think with technology back then, they could have done what they do today with AI and all that bullshit and make it up. I just think technology-wise and the filming and the actual, going around with the movie, I just don't think they could have made that up.
I'd like to think they couldn't. When was Jaws filmed?
82.
Yeah, so even then that's...
Oh, sorry, the first one was 77, I reckon.
68, 78. So that's still 10 years. And they still couldn't make a fucking shark swim through the water, could they?
Had me scared. I
think they did scare the whole population.
I went to Universal Studios with the family, and the thing popped out the water. They took you past it, and the thing popped out the water. Well, I did a little brown stain sort of as we went past, but
they do it well.
Looked all right to me.
Yeah, they do it well. And you think that automation back then. You look at if they learned to split the atom in 1944, you're nearly 100 years ago. Mm. Now to have the mass to even get to that point, right? Because it's only an equation, isn't it? Everything's only just an equation to get there.
Yeah.
If they knew that in 1944 to what quantum computers are doing now, they're making meniscus, they're making your cartilage of your knee now in space.
Really?
They can't make it on Earth because it's too dense here. It'll collapse it. But they can make them in a zero atmosphere.
Jeez, Branson's building knees, isn't
he? No? So what they're going to do is you'll have a type A knee. There'll be probably type A to D, right? And you'll just order one and it will be made up there. So all your investment's going to be up in the zero gravity.
Wow. I need new knees.
Everyone needs new cartilage.
I'm interested in that. I wonder what the cost
will
be.
So you can make it up there in zero gravity because it doesn't compress on itself. So the bag somehow doesn't split, and then they got to bring them back to Earth. Now, you might get it. What happens if you get a rework? You might get a dodgy one. You might have to wait 6 months to get one back.
Sorry, Shaun, we've come back all the way from space, and we've got your 2 female knees, so you're going to have to walk with you have to wear high heels from now on. Look, I don't know, but I still come back to, with the landing on the moon, technology was too far back to make that up, is what I'm saying.
I think so. I think so. I'm sort of 99.9 that we did it. Or the Yanks did it.
Why don't we just go with that? I know they are.
Yeah. Well, you had the Apollo 13 movies. You had all that, made it all exciting.
Well, that other one that I cannot think of it the life of me. It's on Netflix, I think, or one of the.
There's a new one.
There's a new one about the ladies that African American ladies that worked there that were racially vilified, but they were the smartest calculating people in the world at the time. So they were sending up rockets because they were so smart. They knew all the calculations, but no one wanted to talk to them because they were African American. So they had them in separate. They had no toilets. They had them in separate offices. And
I do remember that. Yeah, I do.
I've actually watched the film just recently, about a week ago.
Isn't it so bad?
Bloody great film.
Yeah, isn't it so? There's so much division on Earth. If you come from another planet and you come here, you'd go, as Rogan always says about the monkeys running around. Why the fuck would you bother coming here?
Well,
everyone wants to fucking kill each other. Everyone wants to blow everyone up. You're the wrong colour. I'm the wrong race. And you think, how fucking hard can it be to get on?
Can I ask you this as well, though?
Sure. Do you want me to get us another drink?
Oh, I think so. Is this just not everyone in life? Like, when you look at it, you got the countries wanting to blow each other up. There's tension there, anger there, blah, 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 as we've spoken about. But it's even in real life. Thanks, mate. I didn't get my correct Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh, you're in my car park, and I wanted that car park, so I'm going to go off at you.
I'm going to bring you down.
All the dash cam footage you can see where everyone's angry at each other. There's just so much bloody anger in the world.
It is.
And you just go, well, relax.
It's rampant through every meme, isn't it?
Relax. I don't
everywhere.
get it.
The whole world's pissed off. It's got to a point where it needs to self-destruct itself because it's so negative.
No one can afford...
Find some fucking positive stuff.
No one can afford stuff anymore. People are working more hours than they have to. Some of them have to do 2 jobs, whatever, you know, and everyone's so bloody stressed. And it's getting to a stage, that's well done, that's similar to building a spacecraft.
They're called West End bricks.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we see a couple of them on Anzac Day, I would have thought.
I reckon. You might see... You might see a pallet.
Am I bringing Masky up here again and then leaving it here for 12 months?
Nah, just bring the beers up.
Okay. But the thing is there that everyone's working more hours than they do. They're doing several jobs. Kids are stressed because school's harder. And then they just get in their car and they go to Coles and someone's in their car park and off they go. And
do you like
it's just unreal.
Did you like it better in the 60s and 70s when we were growing up where... we all sort of had, we all had one parent, but, you know, the lucky ones had 2 parents that were home, you know, and, you know, life was simple, wasn't it? You were throwing sand bombs at cars driving past. You didn't have you had a TV, a black and white TV, or, you know, when colour come in, you're lucky enough to get a colour TV. But fucking hell, it was simple, wasn't it? You'd go outside. You didn't have as many fat fucking people back then.
I was outside all the time, kicking a footy with me mates across the street.
Didn't you? Riding a bike, you got your bike, you might as well got your car licence.
So next door to Mum and Dad's, there was this ramp that used to go down into an old paddock, and you'd go right up the top, and you'd come down, and she's all rocks and whatever, but you didn't care. And you come down a single lane on your bike, and you're rattling away, and then halfway down, we built a jump, massive jump. So then you'd get enough momentum up and you'd go flying through the air and then you'd land and then you'd have to brake all of a sudden or you'd end up on the road below. So you'd have to navigate that. I reckon probably 2 or 3 years after we moved out of that address, and we didn't care. We'd land, we'd roll through the dirt and get cut and bruised and damaged.
Had to, needed scars to show the girls, didn't you?
Well, yeah, that... mainly the blind ones, but anyway, so we'd roll in the dirt, we'd have fun, have a great time, go home that night, cut up, whatever, you'd get out the dead old bath and away you go the next day. But now, 3 years later, I remember when we moved out, and I'd done this years before, but they'd flattened it out, the paddock. And I said to my old man, what did they flatten the paddock out for? Where'd the jump, where'd the hurt on the... He said, oh, no, they allow kids to ride bikes there now around the track you dug out, but they're not allowed to jump in case they have an accident. Things have changed.
It was all about being sued, wasn't it? We used to go up to Hayland Station. We used to go up, pull the van up there and let the kids run around all day. We let them go at sun up and they were back at... And they were on a farm, you know, like... Yeah. And that all got shut down. They used to have a mine right in there. This is up near Clare, Spalding.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And it was a working farm, you know, and we'd go up there all Easter and just, you know, try to get up there a day early and come back as late as you could. And as I said, the kids were just playing with the animals all day. There were young ones, young animals, big animals. They had the mine ride, and then one year it all got shut down.
Yeah.
So... looks like we've lost our battery, buddy. Just put it on pause.
All right.
Shawnee, we're back. We ran out of power, mate. The little mouse, the little mouse that ran around in the bloody wheel, she ran out of power.
She couldn't keep pedaling, and
we got a new camera just to try to get us out of the 20-minute break. So we've done all right. What we'll do is we'll start to wind this one up.
Yep.
We've just put it on a bit of a charge now just to get us to the end. But,
yep.
Shawnee, good to have you here, mate. I think we'll keep this going every week. This is a lot of fun.
Oh, sure is.
I hope that the tariffs and all the Chinese bullshit starts to try to get some heading in this week coming that we can talk about next week. But it's been good to catch up, mate. We're nearly at the nearly at the hour mark. So we'll wind this one up today.
Yes, sir.
And we'll have a chat again next week. So
great being here, dude.
We'll see you soon. Always. Get that crowd running, mate, and get that song going, and we're laughing. She's going. Here we go. This is a Milne Road Studios production. Just Talk.
On a beautiful, warm Sunday.
With Ashman, this is Shaun Evans. All right, we're done.